Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to SRL RGL round 2 of this is season 1 of this season, I suppose. And we're here again, as I say, in Bahrain. I've absolutely blotched the start of it, but we're under the lights at this famous Sakhir circuit, which has become such a phenomenon in the Formula 1 calendar after being just a day race. It's now turned its attention to the day to night race. It's a twilight Grand Prix, and that's one that I'm sure all the drivers enjoy driving. Maybe not so much on the tyres, but we'll see how the racing fares. Always a good race around here. Just cast your minds back in RGL terms to season 2, where we had that complete ding dong at the start of the Grand Prix, and it went on throughout the due course of the Grand Prix between Danny and Lars back in those days. We have a few of the drivers who raced in that event here today, but joining me, as he did in season 2 in Bahrain, is Mundo. And Mundo, how are we doing? This is your first race of the season. You're excited to be here.
Yep, I'm very decent, thank you, James. Just took a slurp from my tea as usual, and I can't wait to see the action. The grid looks really ridiculous tonight, and I'm of course very happy to see that. 14 drivers, so decent turnout. We could have wished for more, but it's alright. It's really competitive. So I can't wait. We are in another desert track, just not the same as we have seen in real life, but it's Bahrain, so a lot of overtaking opportunities with long straights, so I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and of course it's Maestro who leads the championship charge at the moment. He's ahead of Jar after it was a brilliant season opener in Australia. Went down to the very last few corners of the Grand Prix before it got decided. It was Maestro from Joe, and it was a surprising podium perhaps for Verstappen, who managed to clamber his way onto the rostrum. As here, Mundo is still drinking his tea quite loudly. Verstappen did finish on the podium that day, and he does seemingly have quite good pace around here from what I've heard in practice, so there is a good chance for him maybe to add to his trophy cabinet. Who knows? A few pointers though in this qualifying session. Don't expect an awful lot to go on, although you can see times on the board. That doesn't mean anything. All these guys will be trying to better their runs later on in the session on the alternate strategy around this circuit. It will be a one-lap sprint for pole position round here, so do not be put off by those times that you're seeing at the moment, because it is currently Freiburg ahead of Maestro.
It's at least our prediction that most of the guys will start on softs. That's the ideal strategy, because one stop is quite quick as usual on for this era or last couple of years. So yeah, they'll be looking to start on the softs, but they're still on the track, so we got a bit of entertainment. Meanwhile, we have Maestro. I don't know if you mentioned that, James, but Maestro, the last round winner. A thrilling battle with Joe last lap. Will be exciting to see if he can continue that form. But we also have a new full-time driver, Ben JP in the Williams. Who is a former SL driver from past season, who uses no assists, so yeah, quite rapid. I think he can definitely contend for top 5. I haven't seen him in a while, but
yeah, compared to last week at least, this grid, with no disrespect to the one that was fielded last time out, I feel like this has a few more potential race winners in there. Thomas proved yesterday, watching another league, that he has got the pace to fight it up with Joe, and he did so in spectacular fashion. Maestro did go to prove that he's another who can challenge Joe, of course, winning the Australian Grand Prix, something that maybe I didn't expect at the time. So really good effort from Maestro, but we're all wanting to see, and we're going to see the potentially from the likes of Langman. Smithson is also here this weekend. Most Ronan didn't really get to show what he was able to do last time out in Australia, but we do know was what actually took pole position in the pre-season race around Germany. So he's one to watch, is Most Ronan, along with so many others as I've described. Hopefully we get as much of a mess as we saw in Season 2. Snapping us backwards.
Well, we definitely have the potential. I mean, we have drivers as Thomas, who reminds me very much of Danny M7. So he's a reserve for tonight, but I think he can definitely be up there with the likes of Warden, Maestro, Langman, also Clone Troop. I actually don't know how rapid he is, but he should be up there. I mean, I don't know if you have seen him before, James.
Yeah, Clone Trooper's got some pace, I'd say. From what I've seen in other leagues, haven't followed him an awful lot, but from what I understand, he has got some pretty good pace. He isn't the Williams driver for this evening, but he may not be in the coming races. So, for the sake of this race, the Williams driver, he's got some good pace, I suppose. I've seen him in previous league races. He's gone to show what he can do on his day. He's definitely one to watch, I'd say. He's challenged for a couple of league racing titles that I know of. He's won a couple of league races in his day as well, so definitely a man to watch as we head through. And of course, this is really a star-studded field. It's a fair few quality drivers out there. I mean, Ginger Ninja finished, runner-up to Langman, of course, in Season 2, as we all remember. And he also just won a league race last night. He won a league race, I believe, for the first time in about 2 years, so I hear. It's been a while for Ginger Ninja, but he managed to finally break that duct. Joe is another one. We know Verstappen has won many a league race and won championships as well. Smithson, we know, has got some good pace and has also come close, if not winning championships himself. PJ Gamer was a big thorn in the side of Joe really in Australia. The beginning few laps is a real mess between those two, but they managed to cleanly batter that out. It was a really good scrap between those two in the end. Most Ronan, we've seen what he can do in SRL, or at least I have seen what he can do in SRL. He's definitely, as I say, one to watch. Clone Trooper, as we know. And then we go back to the Season 2 champion of RGL was Langman, and thus far the only champion within the SRL RGL ranks who's actually racing here tonight.
Yeah, I'm just looking. They should be on their laps quite soon. I thought Clone Trooper was on a lap, but then he just backed off for some reason. Rookie is currently leading with 27.4, which is alright, I think. That's pretty.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I mean, you want low 27s, maybe high 26. That's possible. That's pretty good. He's currently on a lap. Let's check how his sector times are doing. In sector 1, he's currently a single 10th off, but that's on his soft run. So
yeah, to be expected. A lot of guys, as you've seen over the course of these laps, have actually backed off right at the end of the lap, so they've just pulled straight off the throttle, because I don't want to, of course, count that as their lap time, and we know, of course, it's as obvious as it is, that you set your fastest lap time on the tyre, on whatever you set your fastest lap time on, will be the tyres you start the Grand Prix on. With 3 minutes to go, we'll be hoping to see that most people do improve on the lap times. If they don't, they could be in a little bit of trouble on those super soft tyres. They wear very, very quickly around here, and ideally you'd want to be looking at the one-stop strategy. Super softs to mediums is definitely possible, but it's not definitely possible. It's a bit touch and go. It's a bit touch and go. You'll be very, very slow.
It's like me doing the impossible patch strategies for one stop on the 2016 game. I mean, it's not common. As Rookie, that's another fastest lap. He hasn't improved that much, I don't think, but he's he's rapid. I mean, that's quite decent.
Absolutely.
I'm quite sure we'll see an answer from the top guys. As you said, they're doing a sprint run for one lap, and we are only 2 minutes away from seeing some results. I think Maestro's on a lap now.
Yeah, let's take a look at him. Heads down towards turn 1, just hitting the brakes just after the 100 metre ball, throwing the car in. Really difficult traction on turn 1. You can really not afford to get your foot down as early as you like. You feel like you're always gauging with that right foot as you come through turn 1. In towards turn 4 we go. Throwing the car once again. It's off camber, so you're slightly rising as you hit the corner, and a little bit, you can take a little bit of curb on the exit there. Again, on the inside of
He
the
misses
end
the
of the first
apex.
section. Oh, he's really cocked that up. I don't even think he's going to improve. No, he's backed off, is he? No, he's going to keep going, it looks like, Maestro. But yeah, he got very, very hairy on the exit curb there. In towards turn 10 we go. And once again, you just want to keep the car as nicely poised as possible, because there is a chance of a lock-up into there. Probably the easiest corner to lock your front left tyre. And the corner that follows is not even much easier as you fly through turn 11 and up towards turn 12 and 13. This long right-hander, do not touch that curb on the inside, because it will spit you out like some gone-off chicken as he heads now down towards the penultimate corner and towards the final corner. It's a double apex, this one, so you want to be running out the car once and then twice. Hits the brake pedal, down a few gears, into third gear, clips the apex on the inside. Once again, he's going to be upping through the gears as he hits the DRS zone. Bang on as he heads towards the line. Will Maestro go anywhere near? No, doesn't look like he will be. May have to go for another attempt. There's a few other guys all out there on track hoping to improve. Joe is one of them. He's just exited turn 10. You're getting a nice little 12 Ginger Ninja.
Yeah, that's looking really good for Joe, but Maestro bottled that on sector 2, I believe it was. Just missed the apex, and that cost him the exit on the outside curb. So let's see it, Joe coming now. I think he's on a lap, so he loses the rear a bit into the back straight here. Now we come into the last corner, just brake before the 50-meter board, and he gets it nicely done. KG Gamer says the fastest lap with a 26.7, really impressive there. And Joe tops it, 26.5.
It's a great lap. Warden's in the gravel. He spun his Force India right around. He's pretty much out of qualifying now. Maestro has gone for a second attempt. There's others all on laps. Langman is another one who's just begun his final run. Smithson is also on his. Well, these are all final runs now, so you just got to pick up. Yeah, Thomas, whereabouts is he on his lap? Yeah, he's just started really his penultimate run. So it looks like one of the final few cars to take the checker flag will be Thomas or Langman. But let's see what Maestro could do. He's coming up towards the line now. He's got a big rear end moment coming out the final corner. He comes up towards the line. He can only go third fastest, the championship leader. Can anyone top him here? Looks like Smithson has got a good chance in the other Mercedes. He's heading down towards the final corner himself. He needs to make sure that he can get a good start in RGL SRL this season. Didn't race in Australia, so he'll need a big result here. Comes up through the gears once again towards the line. Can Smithson improve on his time? Yes, he can. To P3. Does topple Maestro. He's only a few thousandths off his
what about Thomas?
Gamer at the moment. Where is he? Yeah, he's coming through the back straight now. Yeah, look at that. He's only 6 thousandths off of KJ Game. That's a brilliant effort from the Sauber driver. And Thomas is coming up towards the line now in the Red Bull on those soft tyres. Can he get anywhere near the top 5? Yes, he can.
Wow.
But he's 3 thousandths off Maestro in P5. He's only just missed out. And Langman's only P8. He's had a shocker.
Wow.
Warden's not going to improve. Verstappen's gone wide, and I think we've got our final few our top 3 at least, and there are your final grid positions.
That's mental. 3 tenths split top 6. I think we couldn't get that much more close. That's similar to Abu Dhabi, what we saw in quali for a split second. But that's wow. We have a race.
That is
we definitely
have a
do.
Race. Joe with a bit of a stellar lap, really pulling that one out the bag, around about 1.5 tenths faster than KJ Game. We know what happened in Australia. Joe didn't get a good start in Australia. It's a longer run into turn 1 than it is in Australia, so Bahrain should surely bring up a bit of spice into the first corner. There may be a bit of contact, a bit of carbon fibre flying everywhere, but who's to say that nothing will happen at all? Joe starts from pole ahead of KJ Gamer on the front row. It's most Ronan who starts from 3rd, the Italian ahead of Smithson on row 2. Maestro didn't get the run he wanted. He'll start from 5th ahead of Thomas in P6, but 3,000 covering those two. Fry Boogie with a really good effort in P7 ahead of Langman in the Ferrari, who once again hasn't had the qualifying he was hoping for. Boris Letterbox is 9th ahead of Ben JP. Warden is just outside the top 10 and gets free choice of tyres. Boris Letterbox doesn't. He starts on the Supersoft. Ginger Nidder, Verti, Verstappen and Clone Troop all round off the grid. It's going to be a very, very interesting race indeed.
Yeah, because we have some front runners who didn't bottle their laps, and then we have some who did. but who we know have the experience to come up the field. So we have some dark horses as drivers as Clone Troop and Verstappen, who definitely are looking to make some progress. So we definitely have a race, James. I can't wait. It's gonna be really close. Hope there's not too much carnage. That at least the top 6 gets cleanly through turn 1, even though it's a hairpin. So, but yeah, everything can happen.
Yeah.
I do believe we have formation lap.
Yes, we did last time, so I'm hoping we do this time as well. But yes, it is going to be a very close race indeed. A lot of proven pointers out there today. There's a few, apologies for that, who are looking for their first few points of the season, not least the likes of Smithson, the likes of, you're looking at Thomas and Clone Troop, who may be reserves as well, but they'll all be looking for that. The formation lap, though, means we are going to be starting this race very, very shortly, in just over a minute's time or so. But everyone in the top 8 start on the soft tyre. Only Boris Letterbox in the entire field starts on those dreaded super soft tyres. Ben JP is 10th. He does start also on the soft tyres. The tyres he's got a fine lap on. Warden going for an alternate. Yeah, look at that. He's gone on the medium tyres, hoping to go a lot longer in this Grand Prix. He'll need to hope, though, that he doesn't damage his front wing in early doors, because that is a big issue maybe into turn 1 around here. Ginger Ninja, VT Verstappen and Clone Troop are also all on the soft tyres, so those only 2 drivers have decided not to go on the soft compound. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do over the course of this Grand Prix. But it's just going to be interesting to start, really. We want to be looking at Joe and VSR KJ Gamer, because he needs a good start, Joe, into turn 1.
What's your prediction, James? I mean, it's really hard because we have seen the qualifications, so we know it was really close over 1 lap, but over the race it should be something different. We know Joe can struggle, can lag a bit in the race, so maybe KG Gamer has an advantage, but it's really close. It's so hard to tell. We know Maestro really has the experience in the race, so I would say that it's possible for him to get a podium.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the tyre wear, I think, for Joe. Always seem to see him race, and it's the end of the first stint. He struggles so poorly on his tyres, the tyre temperatures in particular. He will lead the field away. Will we see a reminiscence of the Bahrain Grand Prix of a couple of seasons ago, season 2? How crazy that was. Absolutely mental scenes back in the days of just RGL. And let's see what these guys can do as Joe heads into his grid slot. He's got his Mercedes teammate Smithson in P4. Maestro is the highest placed Ferrari in P5 in the championship leader. Maybe not the position he will want to be in. And will now line up ready for the start of this Bahrain Grand Prix under the lights, as it now famously is. Since 2014 we've been racing under the lights, and it's going to be an even better race potentially than what we've seen in Australia. Who knows? We're getting ready then for the 5 red lights ahead of the drivers. Lights out and away we go. It seems like a pretty good launch from Joe off the front row. He's already covering off KJ Gamer into turn 1. There's plenty of carbon fibre nearly going everywhere. There's a massive gap in the middle. Look at Thomas down the inside of Smithson. He's made the move stick, is he? Yes, he has. Thomas into P3. And there's a spinner. And it's actually Moores in most Ronan. He's got the car around. I'm not sure whether he's kept it all in the race, but the 2 Ferraris battling away. Look at Langman down the inside already of his teammate. Has he got the move done here? Maestro is on the inside, or on the outside I should say. Langman is sticking in there on the inside. Can he get the move done on his teammate? He has got them done on his teammate, and Boogie's looking for a move on Maestro as well. A chaotic start then to this Bahrain Grand Prix.
Wow, what a start, but unfortunate from Ronan. He's already out of the race, but Langman he gained 2 places, and yeah, he's looking to gain on Thomas. Also really decent start by Thomas. What a start from the guys.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. Smithson's obviously had some sort of contact. He's all the way down into P9. He's had a shocker. Boris Letterbox has found his way up through the field as well. It's all starting to kick off at the front though. It's a big gap. There's a bit of contact perhaps as well. No, maybe. Side by side action between Ginger Ninja. There's a car around. Yeah, Letterbox has spun it right around down into there. Joe's now weaving down the back straight. He's hoping to break the toe away from KJ Gamer, who's not got the best start, but he's managed to keep tabs with him. The launch of KJ Gamer looked very, very
Look
good
at that
indeed.
gap, though.
But yeah, it's 2 seconds already between these guys. That's quite crazy, the gap between them. And Joe does lead the field away after lap 1. KJ Gamer is still on his tail, still looking to make a move on him. Smithson has come into the pits early doors here. Joe's locked up his front wheel and isn't going to get the run he'll want. KJ Gamer's going to be right on him as they head up towards turn 4. It's going to be very close between these two. Obviously, both on the soft tyres. Let's see how they fare. Down in towards turn 4 we go, and Joe is still managing to keep a gap between them. Thomas will just have to sit back here and pick up the pieces.
Indeed he is, and we already have a penalty from Verstappen, who made an early pit stop as well as Smithson and Boris Letterbox. So they're looking to go on the harder compound to an alternate strategy, but we have KG Gamer right behind putting this pressure on Joe, and I'm just checking on his ERS usage. He's being very smart on it, and Joe has used more, so he's definitely feeling the pressure from KG Gamer. And Thomas is just sitting back and relax, waiting for something to happen, also saving that ERS system. So Langman has caught a bit around 4/10, so decent job by the Ferraris, just being standby at the moment. It's come a bit, but it's all to play for the top 3. As soon as they do something, then the 2 Ferraris will be right up there.
Yeah, absolutely they will, and they'll be ready to pounce as well. It's 1.7 seconds between Langman, who's just set the pace in this Grand Prix, showing that he's no pushover in this race at all. The top 3 squabbling away, and this is where he'll make his chance. Clone Trooper is down the inside of Ginger Ninja into turn 1. He's got the move done as the Williams. He's ahead of the Sauber now. He's into P8 in this Grand Prix. A nice little move then from VSR Clone Trooper, but KJ Gamer is right on the back of Joe for the lead of this Grand Prix. You can see that Thomas is still sitting just behind them. Langman now 1.5 seconds between these guys, and he's not losing tabs with them at all. Maestro, in fact, is losing out quite heavily to his teammate in the early exchanges of this Grand Prix. Let's see what KJ Gaming can do on the back of Joe. He's going to have DRS for the first time in this Grand Prix. I don't think he'll get a move done into here. Oh, look how late he breaks into turn 10. He's going to get a good run on Joe, isn't he? He's run. Slightly bogged down. Yeah, slightly bogged down with a bit tighter line than Joe, and that may affect him to go for a move down into turn 11. And indeed it has. He can't get the move done just yet. He'll have to wait until turn 1 perhaps to get his move done. But let's just see how powerful his run is coming out of this long right-hand corner,
Joe,
a place where you can make overtakes.
Joe
he's
a
getting
bit
really scrawny.
Yeah, he really is. And now coming into turn 14, we have Langman already getting a penalty, but he's caught a bit, so a long race still ahead. But look at KG Gamer looking to get best possible exit, and Joe is really struggling on those tires. You can clearly tell compared to the other drivers. He's feeling the pressure, and here we go. Down the back straight. Langman says the fastest lap. Around the outside.
Then there goes K. Yeah, he's got the move done on the brakes, as he because Joe's sat on the inside and KJ Gamer's going to try it around the outside. I'm not sure whether he's going to get the move done. He doesn't. And watch Thomas behind, because he'll get in on the act here in the Red Bull. The McLaren is getting squeezed out by the Mercedes, who's going to get some very evasive action to try and get off. Well, try and get the McLaren away from him. And Thomas is going to get a move on the inside of 1. Can he get in on the inside of 2? The Red Bull has got through past the McLaren here. They're side by side towards the end of the first sector, and Thomas does get ahead of the McLaren. It's so reminiscent of the season 2 race, and here comes KJ Gamer again on the braking. Langman's just behind as well, and let's not forget what he did in that famous race. He's just not being able to get close enough yet. He's 6/10 behind now, Langman, so these guys in front of him, but Thomas has had a pretty good start indeed. Yeah, he can't get that rear end sorted out on the Mercedes, I should say. Thomas is going to be all over him like a rash as they head down towards turn 11. Thinks better for a move there. The McLaren, though, KJ Gamer caught well off guard when he went for a move on Joe. Some very aggressive actions there between the top few guys.
And just by that, we already have the grid just being set up again. We have a gap to Maestro for 2 seconds, but that can easily drop down, and then we have all to play for. Now Joe coming into the last corner for lap 4 of this race. Thomas doesn't look quite close, but KG Gamer and Langman, they do.
Closing.
and they are
He's
closing.
closing. Thomas.
Oh, he is.
Look at this into turn 1. Thomas is up the inside of Joe into turn 1. A lap ago he was third. Can he get it up the inside of Joe into turn 1? No, thinks better of it. Turn 3 follows though, or turn 4 I should say follows, and he will be right up behind that Mercedes, who's once again got that's such a defensive line. And it's where famously Alonso said you've got to leave the space, and will he leave the space? Because Joe does keep it on the inside and does stay ahead of the Red Bull. It's so close between these cars at the moment. It's really just nip and tuck. Who can tell who will win this Grand Prix? It's very close at the moment. Langman, and actually Thomas has made slight contact with the rear of the Mercedes there, and he's just not been able to get the car stopped in time. I don't think he's got any wing damage on the Red Bull, but he's going to have to size him up for a move here. Look how tight he is. The apex nearly made contact with the Mercedes, and it's all kicking off once again. The Red Bull can't find a way through against that Mercedes.
I think there was contact. I don't know if Thomas has got damage, but Joe is really struggling. He's bunching these guys up, and it's no matter of time before we see a move, and it's gonna be determined by the exit of Thomas. And if he doesn't get a decent exit, then KG Gamer will hit him hard backwards, same as Langman.
Yeah.
So here
Joe's
we go.
gone really wide out the final corner once again, and this is the best run Thomas has had. He's going to maybe look for the outside line here, because Joe's going to cover it off. Or is he? Because Thomas does dart to the outside. Can the Red Bull get him on the brakes this time? The Mercedes is on the inside. Can Thomas hold him this time? No, he can't. He's going to have to give him a slight switchback move, and look at the momentum that Thomas is going to get up the hill. And indeed he has. Look at the Mercedes. He's completely flabbergasted by that. And can the Red Bull find him up the inside here? Thomas down the inside into turn 4. Looks for the move. They're side by side into there. They're nearly banging wheels, but the Mercedes does stay ahead. Joe does keep his lead for the very slightest of margins.
What is surprising me the most is that the
Oh, he's down the outside! Oh, goodness me, he's going to go for the move here on Joe, and he's not going to be able to get that move done, but he's going to be on the inside for turn 9 and 10. This is where it's going to get so interesting into here, and he's got on the inside, Lambert's on the inside as well, of the McLaren. They're side by side, they're banging wheels. Thomas takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix, but look at that, it's a Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari. Look how close this Grand Prix is. We're 6 laps in.
And KG Gamer's looking for inside line into turn 11, I believe it was. Oh, it's so close.
Oh, goodness me! The McLaren's nearly sideways through there. He just can't keep it off the back of that Ferrari
And
at the
Thomas
moment, but
goes
Langman
wide
has
as
got the
well.
move done.
So Joe's gonna have a look
bit
now.
of momentum. Here we go into the final corner. Will he get a move done on the Red Bull? No, thinks better of it into there. It's all about the momentum with DRS. He's going to have plenty of that, isn't he? The momentum.
Thomas
And
already
Thomas
going
actually bells.
defensive.
Whoa, thinking about coming into the pits. He wasn't thinking that hard though, was he? Look how much they're weaving, trying to break the toe of each other in towards the first corner. Doesn't look like Joe's going to get a move done, but KJ Gamer certainly is. He's down the inside of the Ferrari. They're nearly making contact. Langman keeps it on the inside and shuts the door and says, "You're not coming through there, sunshine." And he's going to give it a go up towards turn 4, isn't he? Screw what I just said. Let's see if the McLaren can get the move done. On the inside into turn 4, the McLaren has got ahead of Langman. He's now into 3rd place, and what a start this has been to the Bahrain Grand Prix.
What a start. This has been breathtaking. 7 laps only into the Grand Prix. We already have a fight. Langman's looking for the outside now. Can't quite get it, but oh my days, Maestro's also right back in it. Same with Boogie. It's all kicking off now, only for the first stint, so we gotta think of pit stop soon. Joe is still sticking with Thomas, so he can't break that toe yet, but Langman is the guy who looks closest to a driver right now, and that is KG Gamer, who's under pressure. The McLaren driver coming into the swooping corners, who are gonna be really hard to take flat the more we get in, the more longer we get into this stint, because the tires are gonna wear out, and that's where we see who is gonna get on the top of this immense fight we have right now.
Absolutely, they'll start overheating, and that's where, of course, you're going to lose way too much grip. And the dirty air does also affect that. as Joe and Thomas once again are embracing a battle for the lead of this Grand Prix. It's very weird that we're seeing such squabbles between the top two here. Joe is closing, but not closing enough to the back of the Red Bull, and he'll have to think of where he's going to get this move done. He's got so low on the brake pedal there, though. He may get a good run coming up the hill. Langman likewise sticks behind KJ Gamer, takes a lot of curve. Let's not forget Langman does also have a penalty already this Grand Prix for multiple track extensions. And now Thomas has gone deep into turn 4, but that's not going to compromise him too much because Joe hasn't really pounced on him enough, you could say, through there. He's just thinking about it. He's sizing him up. Where's he going to get the move done? It won't be into the hairpin. He'll have to think of another place potentially for that car to get a move done. And Langman went so low on the brakes once again in towards that long right-hand hairpin, and he just can't get the move done just yet. It's just kicking off. You haven't even thought of strategy. We're 8 laps into the Grand Prix, and soon these softs are going to run out. So it's just a case of when and who pits first.
Indeed, and it's really, I'm just looking at the ES usage, and Maestro and Langman. Langman is the one who saved the most. Also the guy who has a penalty. So it's still all to play for. Also, we have a mistake from the McLaren, and we also have Joe putting under pressure, but KG Gamer made a mistake running a bit too wide, and he's already a second behind Joe. So Langman could potentially be making, as we see. Oh, that was a dirty move, not a dirty move, but Thomas pretended like he was going into the pits, and now we see Joe going around the outside, potentially going for
Langman,
the switchback now.
He's got a move done as well, and Langman's through. He's got himself into P3, but the top two still squabbling away. Can he get a move done in towards turn 4? Then Joe versus Thomas into turn 4. I don't think it's going to happen there, but KJ Gamer's got back ahead of the Ferrari. He's going to get the switchback. Move on the inside into turn 4. Turn 5 follows. Can he keep him on the inside? The Ferrari's going to be so brave of him. Can't quite get it done, and McLaren is still ahead.
But look at Maestro now in it, and he's getting hit at the behind. I don't know if Langman got contact there, but he's now on the outside into the left-handed, tricky left-hander.
Switch him up
down
the
my,
inside. Oh, goodness me.
That's
that
gonna lose
never
him.
have worked out and didn't. Goodness
and
me, Maestro's
Maestro
all over the back of him now. Yeah, he's going to find himself through, and it's mistakes like that that you really don't want to be doing in these early exchanges. Maestro finds his way through. He's into P4 in this Grand Prix, and Langman did genuinely lick this down. The Ferraris are side by side in towards this long right. And no! Have they made contact there? Maestro's gone so wide off the road.
Now Boogie gets it.
Behind Boogie.
Drone Troop also.
And Maestro's letting him through. And Maestro has let the Williams through there and does appreciate it with a little weave. And the Williams is ahead, but how have they got involved in this Grand Prix? Because they were nowhere off the start.
But that has helped Joe and Thomas to pull away a bit. 1.5 seconds.
Langman and KJ. Yeah, Langman and KJ Gamer have also just come into the pit, and they're changing onto the medium set of tyres.
Also pedaling off. Sorry to interrupt there, James. Drone Troop has made it past. We're gonna see some drivers from the behind who are making progress now, because they haven't been battling as much as the front guys. So we also have Warden with Ginger Ninja scrabbling right behind. Oh, it's a bit lag because of the connection, but Warden seems to have done it. But yeah, as you mentioned, Langman and KG Gamer are looking for the undercut on the top 2.
Absolutely right, and they could definitely get it. It's only, well, I mean, you can be within 3 seconds of the car and manage to get the undercut working. Joe and Thomas still lead the field away, though. They are 6/10 between them, half a second between them at the moment. And Thomas, who, let's not forget, started somewhat 6th on the grid, is leading this Grand Prix. It's a stellar effort from the Red Bull, really is. Will go down as a pretty famous win if he can claim it. And he's got a lot of work to do just now, though, because he's got 19 laps to hold off his compatriot Joe in this one, and whether they pit this lap as well, that's what's going to be crucial. Clone Troopers are also right up behind Freiburg, who's in a podium position. He's only ever had one of those in RGL, came with the Hungarian Grand Prix, also in Season 2. So it is all starting to kick off here, and they both, will they die into pits? No, yeah, Thomas Joe thinks about it, but Joe does come into the pits, and that's a big call, and they're following is Freiburg. He comes into the pits as well. Maestro is also in the pit lane. Let's see then where VSI, KJ Gamer and Langman will come out in relation to them. Will they have got the undercut? It can be quite powerful, but just how powerful is it? It's going to be very close between these top few cars now. KJ Gamer lining up down this long main straight. It's a very long main straight. And will he come out ahead of any of these guys? Oh, yes, he has. Joe,
yeah.
he's there. Joe's going to get the... Yes, he's got the move done.
What
on Joe,
the undercut.
Into turn 1. He's done it. Brilliant
there we
stuff
go.
From the McLaren.
And Joe gets right in front of Langman as well, but KG Gamer does it. And where's it gonna come out compared to Thomas? That's more interesting. Maestro gets behind Boogie as well, so... Wow. That played totally into the McLaren's favor.
Absolutely, but Boogie's actually kind of gained from that because if anything, Maestro is seemingly a little bit quicker there, and Boogie's managed to gain out of that. So whereas Joe has lost out coming in that lap, he hasn't. Langman and Joe fighting away once again. We've seen this many a time in the past. Will it happen again here today? The Ferrari and the Mercedes are getting so close to get that tapping. No, he's nearly spun him round, but the Ferrari has just somehow he's kept going. The Mercedes has been half spun, and he's nearly lost the entirety of his race there, but somehow it's
surely
not
Thomas,
gone
yeah, surely
the way.
Thomas is probably maybe if he's lucky gonna get in front, the same as Clone Troop, but Thomas has a chance of getting in front of those guys because that lost them time. You know, Joe and Langman there. That's
yeah,
trouble.
but Thomas has been held in the stop because of the Williams. And now here goes Maestro looking for a move. Joe will be back on the attack again. Will KJ Gamer come out in relation, though, with Thomas? Thomas may not come out where we expect him. He's coming down the end of the pit lane now. Where's KJ Gamer? He's there. Thomas is on the inside into turn 1. It's going to be close between them, and the Red Bull cuts him off into turn 1, and somehow he keeps the lead of this Bahrain Grand Prix. Brilliant stuff. But is he? Because the momentum of KJ Gamer, look at him, they're side by side up the hill towards turn 4, nearly squabbling away. Joe up the... Oh, look at that. He's up the inside, is Thomas. He's going to have to keep it there because the McLaren is looking for that move, and they're nearly pushing each other off the circuit. It's crazy stuff in this Grand Prix, but somehow the Red Bull does keep ahead of the McLaren. But for how much longer? Because the hairpin follows. He's down the inside into the hairpin. Can he get the move done on the brakes? Yes, he can. And Thomas is back on the attack again. On the outside into 9 and 10, really holding right around the outside. Surely he hasn't. Indeed he has, and takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix in spectacular fashion.
What a battle! We haven't had a break since lap 1. That's how crazy this is. And Clone Troop, has got in between Maestro, the two Ferraris. So he's definitely gonna have he's gained a lot of time by staying out, same as Thomas. And Langman also just behind Joe, but it's the McLaren of KG Gamers gonna put the pressure. Look at that exit into the last corner of this lap 13. Thomas goes defensive, almost into the pits as he was going into pits. But here we go, around the outside for KG Gamer. Is he gonna get the momentum? Here we go, he has to.
Oh, looks like he has it. Oh,
yep,
what a move that is. Round the outside into turn 1. He's got the move done on the Red Bull, and the Red Bull will be back on him like a rash again into turn 4, and he'll have to go for the move again. Will Thomas, they're side by side on the exit, nearly banging wheels into there once again, but Thomas has had to relinquish his lead to the McLaren, who has taken it. KJ Gamer leads the Bahrain Grand Prix in this topsy-turvy race, which ultimately could end up in a disaster for one of these guys, but who? It's been a brilliant Grand Prix so far for everyone concerned.
Wow, what? We have a 4-way lead. It's Warden who's yet to pit out there on medium tires, 12 laps, so he's probably coming in a few laps, but wow, what a battle we have so far. Joe also seems to be closer to the Red Bull of Thomas than Thomas is close to McLaren, but you can't really tell. It's really in so small details. It's in matter of how good of an exit you get for each corner. And right now it looks like the Merc of Joe is looking for a move into we're going into lap 15 of this race. We are half through now. Look at that swerming and this weaving. Here we go.
Here goes Thomas up the inside into turn 1. He's going to get the move done again as the Red Bull. Yes, he is. He's late on the brakes. Joe's pushing McLaren around as well. He wanted a bit of that, but couldn't get the move done. And KJ Gamer's got a bit of a touchy exit, you have to be said, off of turn 3. And will Joe look for the move into turn 4? He's going to be very close, but maybe not close enough. And indeed, he isn't. He does stay where he is for now, but this is going to just change almost every lap of this Grand Prix. We've still got, well, it's lap 14 now. We've got 15 laps to go of this Bahrain Grand Prix. We're pretty much a half distance, you could say, and it has really hotted up in this one.
It really has, and we got to think of the long run also. Are these tires gonna last with that squabbling each single lap? We have drivers like Langman and Clone Troop and Maestro, so Maestro is...
KJ!
Yep, sorry.
He's going for the move on the inside in towards there, and he just can't get the move done. He looked really, really close to making a move on the inside of the left-hander. That's not somewhere you'd like to see a move getting made. And KJ Gamer thinking better of it into there. Thomas does stay ahead to 2 or 3 VSR boys that are fighting away for the top 3 positions technically are Thomas, KJ Gamer and Joe. And let's just see what KJ Gamer can do. Like race once again, the Mercedes is sticking right with him. Clone Troop has closed in on this group as well. It's such a squabble for the race lead. Who will come out into turn 1 leading? Here comes KJ Gamer. He's looking for the move on the outside of the Red Bull. Joe's in there as well. He's got to move down the middle of them. Will he get him on the brakes between turn 1? No, he can't quite get the move done. But Thomas has lost out. Yes, here we go. Joe on the inside as well. He's got the move done on the Red Bull. Will Thomas lose 3 positions in as many corners here? The Red Bull is really struggling. Can he get the move done on Joe on the inside? And there goes Ryan. He's looking for a move. He's going to give it a go, isn't he, Thomas? He's side by side with the Mercedes as they head side by side towards the end of the first sector, and somehow
Langman
they've not made any
inside.
contact. Here we go, Langman. Joe, there's Thomas down the inside. Oh my goodness me, what's he going for there? And he couldn't get the move done, and somehow, once again, they still haven't made contact with each other. It's crazy how they haven't made contact with each other.
What is going on? How haven't they crashed yet? This is crazy. They're literally just tiptoeing each other around the track. It's crazy. Crazy stuff. And KG Gamer has pulled a bit of a gap. This is exactly what he needed. A whole second ahead of Joe. It's really about luck also, because they are so close in pace. And they are also really handling the ERS, apart from Thomas and Joe, who's used most of the ERS. Langman and Clone Troop, it's really playing into their advantage, but you gotta remind that they have to pass. One thing is catching, another is getting past. And let's see into turn 1. Doesn't look like there's any action, but Clone Troop is going down the inside of Langman now. First gear as well.
Oh, the William. Yeah, he just can't keep him on the outside. Look how he's off the road almost. And they nearly made contact. They have. No. Yeah. They've made contact with each other, and that has ruined both of their afternoons, or indeed evenings in this case, but they're both not going to be scoring many points. And let's just see what the extent of the damage is on that car, on that Ferrari. Looks a little bit sizable from what I can see, and that's not something he'll be too happy with. So it was, well, 6 cars is down to just 4, but still 4 is good enough to make a great Grand Prix of it, and it has certainly proven to be that way so far. Maestro is 1.5 seconds off these top 3 cars, but just how much damage is Langman having on that Ferrari now? It looks like a fair amount on the left-hand side of the front wing, and I don't think that's not going to be doing him any favours in this Grand Prix. Now, it was so annoying. So annoying.
Quite sure also on Clone Troop. I don't know if there was a racing incident. It was really close, and Clone Troop didn't have enough grip on the outside he was on the AstroTurf. So yeah, I think I'll be looked on after the race. But Warden Pits finally for the sub tires. Where it's gonna come out, it's probably gonna be behind P7 is my best shot. He's already P5 coming out now, but he has a lot he has a lot of things to do though. A lot of catching. He comes right in front of Clone Troop, but he runs wide, so the Williams is gonna get that position. But if Warden can keep up with his tires and they don't go out too quickly, he might have a chance. But the top 3 are the ones to look out for, and Thomas is right behind, putting the pressure on Joe, coming into the middle part of track, lap 17.
Yeah, he's really keeping in tabs with them, isn't he? And the top 3 now are just separated by as many car lengths as each other. There's nothing between them at the moment, and Thomas and Joe and VSR KJ Gamer, who all lead this Grand Prix at the moment. But look at that, Thomas has got the slightly fresher tyres. He will be the one to watch as the race unfolds towards the end. He needs to think about this, because actually making a slight gap between yourself and the car ahead can give you that slight bit of advantage in terms of your tyre degradation. You're not heating them up as much because you're not following in the wake of a car too closely. And if he thinks about it wisely, if he just lets them race, then actually he's got a good chance here as Thomas in the Red Bull. So he needs to think about this. But Joe is closing up to KJ Gamer as they head down towards turn 1. I'm not sure if the Mercedes is going to go for the move. He'll definitely think about it on the outside. He's going to go for it on the outside, but can't get the move done just yet on the McLaren. He may have to wait until turn 4. And if this race had a little bit of a quiet spell, it was just then, but I'm sure it's now going to absolutely explode into life once again. Langman does get a move done on Fry Boogie in the Toro Rosso. So he's managed to get past there, and then Joe side by side with KJ Gamer and thinks for a move and thinks better of it once again. It's such a great fight between these guys, it really is. Joe is also on the defensive of Thomas, and this is a really vulnerable position for the Mercedes. He's attacking and defending. Around here it's a very annoying one to have to deal with because the track is a fair bit wider than most, so they'll be looking for moves at any given opportunity that they have. And Thomas once again is just sitting right up behind Joe. He's just not letting him go. Joe's doing the same with KJ Gamer, but he's got to pick his moments correctly, Joe, in order to win this Grand Prix.
Yeah, Maestro doesn't seem to have the pace this weekend, but he's still scoring some solid points with around 1.7 seconds off. But yeah, Joe is still up there, and same with Thomas. I mean, there's no penalty, so it's all to play for. ERS is also almost the same, so I can't predict who's gonna go on the top, but it looked as now, if we finish this race now, Joe is gonna lead this championship, but I bet that's not what he's thinking about right now. What he's thinking about is how to get past this McLaren that he's been behind the whole race.
Yeah, Fry Boogie nearly went for a move on Langman there. He's going to become very much in abundance to Ginger Ninja behind. He's going to get the move done on him as well. Up the hill we go towards turn 4. He's going to get boxed in though as the Sauber. That's not going to help him because now Boogie's going to have that inside line. Can Ginger Ninja hold him on the outside? Whoa. He's banging wheels with the Toro Rosso, and as they go through there, he's round the outside, is Ginger Ninja, and he's got the move done. It's brilliant stuff from the Sauber. Will the Toro Rosso fight it back? No, he'll think better of it once again. But Ginger Ninja is now right up behind the man who beat him to that championship in Season 2, Langman. It's going to be great to see those two fighting away on the circuit they did so many times back in 2016.
Memories, isn't it? But Langman, I think he's got some damage, so that's why he's holding up the package. Look at that gap to his teammate Maestro of 7 seconds. So there you have it. But yeah, Warden also, he should be making progress, but I think the highest he can get is only P5 if he gets past these 3 cars. Joe is 3 tenths behind. I don't know if he's gonna make a move into turn 1.
He looks like it. He's closing it.
Yep, here we go.
Yeah, into towards turn 1 we go. KJ Gamer defends the inside. Joe has got to go the long way round the McLaren here, and will he get it all done? He looks like he will on the inside, and Joe takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix once again, but KJ Gamer's right back on his gate in the McLaren. They're side by side up towards turn 4 once again. And the McLaren outbreak the Mercedes. They're making contact. They're banging wheels with each other. And will Joe still keep the lead? Indeed he will. But KJ Gamer's just going to back off, thinking of when he can make his opportunistic move. And it may not be now, but he's made slight contact with Thomas. And Thomas is going to go round the outside of him into the hairpin. Can he get it all done? Oh, look at that. They're side by side. They're taking each other off the road almost. But they all keep it together. And somehow he's staying where he is, KJ Gamer. It's a relentless attack from that Red Bull.
We have a yellow flag behind, but we need to focus on this battle for the lead. Joe is taking the lead somehow, and Thomas is looking to take that advantage. It's really, if you get overtaken as the leader, James, then instantly there's a car behind, which is most likely Thomas, who's gonna punish you, and that's exactly what he's doing now. Look at Thomas now, right behind the McLaren. KG Gamer is already trying to go defensive before the last corner, as we have some action behind, but we need to follow this action. Coming into the long straight now, yes, wide open for Thomas.
I think it's going to be a bit too far back.
But
So
he's
to make
still
a move,
looking.
or is he? Oh, goodness me. How was he going to go for that? That was crazy. He would have been in a different postcode going for that one. But somehow, he's not going to get the move done on the brakes there, because that would have been absolutely
But
ludicrous
look at
if he'd
Warden.
have got that
Look at
stopped.
Warden around the outside of Clone Troop. Oh, that's contact.
Damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, damage for the Williams. He's lost a bit of his front wing, I think. Yes, he has. And he's losing places hand over fist in this Grand Prix now. Warden moves his way into 6th.
Indeed it does, and there's definitely happened something. There's definitely sorry, I can't speak. Something has definitely happened here. Some incidents that we haven't seen due to the battles up front. But Langman, as you can see, that's your confirmation. Front left end plate is heavily damaged, and Warden is looking to take advantage of that and get P5. That's probably the maximum of what he can achieve tonight. I think there's gonna be a lot of drivers who who feel like they could have finished higher, but that's racing for you. Incidents happens, but fortunately we still have a three-way fight for the lead, and that is between Joe, KG Gamer, and Thomas. Joe goes defensive, and here we go then. Round 10 or something of this battle, and Thomas seems to have a really good exit around the outside now.
Oh, he's got to the inside. In towards turn 4 he goes. Going to Red Bull get it stopped on the brakes. Looks like he might not get the move done. He's lost a little bit of the rear end coming into turn 4, and actually does stay behind McLaren for now. But that was a really, really opportunistic move from the Red Bull. We know how good he is on that left foot. And will he try it again? And he can't get the move done. My goodness me, how is this not ending in a plane crash between those two? Warden's past Langman for P5. He's 5th in this Grand Prix now as the Australian.
Yeah.
A great drive. Really respectable from him. 10.2 seconds behind Maestro now, so he's got a fair chunk to make up. But Maestro hasn't got maybe as much pace as we expected heading into the weekend. There's
Really hasn't.
only 7 laps to go.
But he's been consistent, Maestro, and that's the key factor. He has 9 seconds down to Warden, so he looks pretty safe. But these guys don't look safe, and we have a penalty for KG Gamer as he's looking for a move on Joe. Wow. That came
He's
out
got
of
it done,
nowhere.
didn't it, Justin? He had to make it as well, because if he didn't, he'd have maybe even lost this Grand Prix. But Joe's going to be on the attack again into turn 1. Oh, goodness me, this is going to end in a somewhat fist fight, isn't it? Here we go. Thomas is on the inside as well of KJ Gamer. He's going to get the move done on him as well. The Red Bull squeezed out. Is he going to squeeze the McLaren out? Oh, my goodness me, they're making contact. Goodness me, keep it in a straight line, boys. And somehow he's managed to do so. The Red Bull is on the attack again. And on the inside.
No.
Oh, no way. Oh, no way. He's got that move done.
What a move.
He has.
What a move
from the Red Bull. Unbelievable.
Wow. What a move by Thomas. Like, it looks like he lost it and he just dives it up. Wow. That
is
way.
Crazy.
That's just crazy. I mean, how haven't these guys lost their heads? That's what I don't believe. But, yeah.
What I'm wondering is how Maestro isn't actually winning this Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Only because these three should have made contact and probably spun each other out by now. Surely these guys should be in a fence backwards or something, because there is no way you can race that closely for that intensity for that number of laps. It's 23 laps in, and they haven't even had a breather. They haven't even thought of breathing this Grand Prix. It's been so. Oh, and VSR KJ Gamer's race gone from bad to worse. He's got a 5-second stop go in this race, and Warden
losing it now. But I'm just looking at the battle for P7 between Ginger Ninja and the Williams of Clone Troop. But look at that gap between Thomas and Joe also, it's just extending now, so question is if Joe has got this finally after 24 laps of pure racing and battling. But here we go by Clone Troop, he seems to be going down the inside of the Cyber Driver. Job done almost, I don't know if the Williams has damage, but he has a lot of ERS usage left. But Gideon Ninja looks for the inside, but Clone Troop breaks a bit wide, but it seems like that is job done for now. And they are slowly catching in on the Ferrari of Langman. 5 laps to go, James.
Yeah.
What? I think it has finally calmed down a bit up front.
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness for
days.
that. That was crazy. That was intense. That reminds me to always bring a drink with me when I'm doing a bit of this. But yeah, completely forgot. Here we go though, because you can always think about who you think your driver of the day should be, and there aren't many people to decide from, are there? Joe has actually started to extend his lead. It's 1.5 seconds now between him and Thomas. It's the biggest gap we've had between the top two this entire race.
A bit of contact with the Williams. He was almost carrying Clone Troop around the track, and that has caused, he's waiting for the Williams. Fair play by the guys, but that means Boogie has moved up to P7 now. And all of a sudden Boogie also, doing a really decent job on those medium tires. I think Clone Troop and Gideon are just looking for a bit of fun now. Here we go. Not quite.
Thinking about it.
They're really thinking about it, and we have a 3-way fight for P7.
Absolutely, Clone Troopers back on the attack again of Fry Boogie as they head up towards turn 4. Looks like the Williams has got the better run. He's into turn 4. Will he get the move done on the Toro Rosso? Indeed he will. The voice cracks through there, but that's just as well because he's managed to find a way through and maybe even be damaged to the front wing of that Toro Rosso. There definitely looks to be understeering an awful lot more than the guys behind, and Ginger Ninja is around the outside of him now and they contact, and that's not something that he was hoping for, and it allows Ginger Ninja through. And that's something that you've got to give respect to these guys. It is, you know, they're going to be sweating their ass off, but at the end of the day, you know, they're giving each other racing room and respect there, and that's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, it really reminds me of the old days, that when you feel like you have some part of the fault of the incident, then you decide to let the other driver through, and that's the thing that we want to see. I mean, that's not something you see that often anymore, but I'm glad to see that still happens, that we show each other respect here. And I mean, I think these guys are really having fun. I mean, you can tell on the way of them driving. Also the lead, I mean, that's probably also why they haven't crashed yet, and why they still haven't crashed yet, that they just racing cleanly and they are quite experienced. So yeah,
I mean, the experience speaks for itself. These guys have been racing for a long time, and what's I think more scary is just how old they are. You know, they're very young racers, and you know they've been racing for so long. It seems 2 or 3 years for some, which is crazy. It's impalpable. It's not quite the 6 years I've been doing it, but it's 2 or 3 years, and it's still an awful long time, and a lot of experience is gained from them, and they do know how to race. And a lot of these guys would have raced in the leagues that did have a fair bit of respect in terms of the way that they went about their business and the way that they raced in every sense of the word. And they were the days that people enjoyed most. And you ask anyone, and everyone goes, "Yeah, this year, on 2016, that was a great season. I remember that, and I remember either this league or that league, and that's why they enjoyed it so much." And it's the same here for SRL and RGL, and that's really where a lot of the names for respect have been made in league racing. And so it should be as well. 2 laps to go of this Bahrain Grand Prix, and it has absolutely flown by. It has gone so quickly. 29 laps.
Sorry to interrupt, but a driver we haven't seen the whole race, but we are seeing now is Ben JP in the Williams for his debut full-time drive. He's catching in on Boogie for a 2-point position, and he's opening theirs now. Let's see if he can do it into turn 1. He's going for the outside the Williams driver. Ben JP, who's only done 1 season of league racing with SL last season. for season 6, I believe, but he gets the move done very cleanly. And
Absolutely.
well,
Ginger
maybe
Ninja side by side
Sorry.
in towards the right-hander and thinks about the move. Oh, he's dropped the car. Ginger Ninja's dropped the car through turn 4. That's a mistake you don't often see, and he's now venturing off to the 2010 lines, and he's up through the gravel, and he's now lost points. Smithson stayed in this Grand Prix, may even pick up a point here. That's incredible. He's not even. Well, to be honest, he's been in the wilderness in this Grand Prix. He has literally been in the deserted nowhere. He has no idea potentially what's happened ahead of him. But what he will do, and look over this Grand Prix, he'll think, oh, hang on a second. KJ Gamer is off the road here in a very, very big way. He's got a puncture on his left rear tyre.
Told you.
Goodness me. And if that's something to happen to one driver, who's to say it won't happen to another? That is a big moment in this Grand Prix.
And he's got a 5-stick and stop and go, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. That's not. Wow. You don't often see that. It'd be interesting to. It would be really great to know where he actually lost the car. But Warden now is 4th in the Force India, and after that alternate strategy, starting on those mediums, seems to have played dividends for him because he's 4th. That's incredible stuff from that Force India.
It's devastating for the McLaren. He's been up front the whole race, and then suddenly something just fails, and then he gets a puncture. Well, no points this evening for him, but we'll hope he comes back stronger next week for China. But yeah, that means Warden has got 4 now, out of nowhere, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly, and also another one, Maestro is P3. You would have been expecting that after all of the action that's gone on here. So let me just do the calculations in my head. Maestro nearly dropped it, actually, going through that long right-hander. He got so close to dropping the car. But, yeah, I mean, in the championship now, it's going to be very, very close. Just 3 points, I believe, between the top 2. Okay, we're only 2 Grand Prix in, but it's a great omen for the championship, and it does mean that we may even get a championship fight this season. Gap between the top 2 is now 2 seconds, so somehow Joe has managed to pull out a bit of a gap. The gap between Warden and Maestro, meanwhile, is 5.5 seconds. That won't close up by that much over the course of the next lap unless Maestro gets a puncture. Weirder things have happened, ladies and gents. It's definitely not out the realms of possibility. He's going to go for the move, Smithson. Thinks about the move, but doesn't go for it, does the Mercedes driver. The other Mercedes driver, and Smithson, is going to get a good drive here, finally getting in some racing action this evening. He's going to move to the outside of Boog. Oh my goodness me, he probably left it a bit too late to pull out the slipstream there, but he's going to go on the outside of the Toro Rosso, who's struggling so badly with the front end of that car, and Smithson is into P8. And now Boogie's actually going to try and fight him back. He's got a good run on him. Smithson had a pretty poor one. And will Boogie get him on the outside into turn 4? Think of for a move, won't he? Look at this! He's going to try and go around the outside of him. And he can't quite get the move done, and the Toro Rosso will settle for P9 in this Grand Prix. But your leader, Joe, is rounding, the final couple of corners. And a race which maybe at some points he didn't think would have been his at all, because it was so chaotic, it was so mental. Carbon fibre flying absolutely everywhere at times. It was just banging wheels with everyone. He made them pay, because Joe wins the Bahrain Grand Prix in spectacular fashion ahead of Virsar Thomas on his debut. Maestro, the championship leader, or was championship leader, will come round to finish on the podium. Warden, only 3 seconds behind Maestro, and finishes a fantastic 4th for Force India. Langman, who could have even won this Grand Prix, dare I say, he had the pace. He finishes in P5. He'll be looking for that podium next time out at the Chinese Grand Prix.
Ben is doing it.
Oh, goodness me, the win is... Oh, he's done it on the line against him. Smithson is going to go around the final corner. He's going to finish in P8. Boogie will finish 9th. KJ Gamer will finish 10th, but because of his penalties, misses out on a single point and finishes in P11. But wow. What a race that was for the win in this league. That maybe go down as one of the best races I've seen for a long time. Yeah, it was crazy. Absolutely crazy between those guys. And there's Joe celebrating on top of the podium on your final race classification from the Bahrain Grand Prix will soon be on screen. Just waiting. There it is. Joe wins the Bahrain Grand Prix in some spectacular fashion at a VSR Thomas. Maestro somehow manages to finish in P3 despite all of his, well, maybe lack of pace perhaps. Warden from 11th on the grid and with alternate strategy on those medium tyres finishes a brilliant 4th for the Australian, worthwhile to getting up for. Langman finishes in 5th ahead of BenJP on his debut, finishing in 6th. Clone Trooper with a fine effort from 14th on the grid in 7th. Smithson is P8. Boogie couldn't hold his grid position. He finishes in P9 but still a very respectable effort. Ginger Ninja rounds out the top 10. KJ Gamer finishes and is the only finisher outside of the points in P11. Boris Letterbox for Verstappen and most Ronan. Ronan didn't even complete 4 corners. And
yeah, that was really
what
impressive.
a Grand Prix.
What impressed me the most is the gap. The gap between first to the last. It's only around 40 seconds, 33 seconds, something like that. 40, sorry. Yeah, that's really decent, and we didn't really see until the last 5 last laps. Only there we could catch a break. So
yeah,
that was crazy.
We're savouring that moment. Your top 3 then are, as we said, Joe, Thomas, and Maestro, and we head to Joe first. And Joe, yeah, remember that, boys? Bit of a manic race, that one. Would you care to comment on just how that race unfolded for you?
It wasn't as straightforward as I had anticipated. I really did. Well, the guys like KJ, Thomas, they really did take the fight to me, which I'm really happy because it was actually an really enjoyable race. It was a DRS battle for the whole race pretty much because the car in front has to push so much, use all their DRS, and they just can't get out of the 1 second window because the DRS is so powerful, which is, I guess, a good thing for the stream because it keeps everyone close, but it's really hard to pull away with. So in the first stint, I kind of knew that was going to be the case, so I wasn't really pushing, just making sure my tyres were fine. And Thomas got me, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then he did bait me into the pits, but that's fine. I got held by like 3 seconds in the pits, I think it was. 2 or 3 seconds at least, which wasn't ideal, because that made me come up behind KJ. And then on my cold mediums, Langman kind of like just hit me up the arse and like half spam me, which wasn't great. I had it all to do really. But yeah, as soon as my mediums got up to temperature, I could just stick behind the guys in front and just like close up to them, and then overtake when I wanted to really, because that's how powerful the DRS was.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely enjoyable to watch. Let's just say, even if it was a complete DRS affair between you guys. I mean, Australia wasn't exactly easy for you, Joe. I wouldn't have said. I mean, there was a conversation afterwards, but I mean, for us looking in on it as neutrals, we can only describe it as a close Grand Prix. So actually, I mean, we're only 2 races in, and the first thing that everyone thinks about is just getting their feet on the ground and thinking where they may finish up this season. Do you think there's going to be more than maybe one guy who's going to be fighting you for a championship? If you believe that you will be, which I'm sure you will be, fighting for this championship.
Absolutely. There's not one guy who I think he's the guy I need to beat. There's several of them now. Now Thomas has joined. I know Clone Troop's quite good. Maestro, he's Mr. Consistent, as it seems. Langman, if he gets his act together. But yeah, there's quite a few drivers that can take the challenge and like probably will win a race this season at some point. So I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest.
Yep, it's turning into a good season. It's return of the old guards. We move to second place, Thomas, and congratulations on the win, Joe. Tom, it was a pretty hectic race. Yeah, it was a pretty hectic race for yourself, wasn't it? It was just a hectic race in general. But there must have been a point in that race where you thought, actually, I can win this. Did you really think that you had the pace to win that Grand Prix in the end?
The start was key. I think I was like P6 off the grid, and I was 3rd by turn 1, so that helped me a lot. and then I think I'm way past what's his KJ when him and Joe were battling, and then I thought right, now it gets interesting because in my eyes Joe's probably the best driver here. No offense to the rest, so I really wanted to beat him. Um, and
Yeah.
I thought in the first stint he was maybe backing us up, because the pace felt quite slow. And then and then when he pit, I blasted the in lap, sorry, overcut them, and then I got caught in traffic again, and then they all caught up, and you just can't break away. And then Joe got the move on KJ, and then I struggled to get past, so I allowed Joe to get the gap. And then yeah, because he's quicker, he managed to keep the gap. But yeah, it's a good race in general.
Yeah, what I was kind of interested in there though, Tom, was when you turned around and said, "Oh yeah, what's his name?" The guy that you were fighting for about 20 laps of that Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Who you were racing with.
I forgot. Sorry.
That's all right. We'll carry on.
I don't think you really think
digress.
about
I mean,
it when you're racing. The adrenaline is just really high. So
Oh no, you're not. You're not thinking through your racing. You're just racing.
yeah, it's just the orange car,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Bloody thorn in the side by the look of things as well. But you, I mean, there must be some sort of belief that you could win a race this season with the pace that you have. And I mean, it must feel the same for KJ Gamer as well. But for yourself, there must be that inner belief that actually you may actually have the pace to go and beat Joe in race trim. So, are you feeling that way? Is there going to be something that may let you down in order to do that? And if it is it going to be qualifying?
No, I don't think. I don't. At the moment, I'm not in a position to win. I don't think. If I keep at it, maybe. My quali lap was alright. I was only 2 tenths off my PB. Race pace is probably my strong point, which I think I showed. But yeah, I just need to just improve everything really to be able to fight the top guys.
Yeah. I mean, once again, congratulations on your P2. We move swiftly to Joe or James in P3, and I think the word we're looking for this race, and you know, I'm not going to be an arse about it, is probably luck. You're very lucky to be where you are today. But the race itself, it almost seemed like you were struggling for pace that race. Would that be a fair comment?
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't say I was lucky either. I looked after my tyres better than KJ, didn't go for stupid move and crash like Langman and Clone Troop, and as a result I'm here and they're not. So I think that's a pretty harsh comment if I'm honest with you. I mean, my tyres did that at the end, which you probably noticed because I was driving around about 3 seconds off the pace. I just kept it clean, minus the bit where I almost died at the start of sector 3 on lap 9 I think it was, but luckily managed to keep it out of the wall.
Yeah, James still.
But yeah, I was a bit annoyed. I was a bit annoyed about qualifying. If I'd been a 10th quicker I'd have been on the front row, but these things happen. Managed to avoid the carnage at the start. Admittedly my pace wasn't as good as Langman, KJ and Thomas, but and Joe obviously, but I was able to keep it clean when they weren't. They didn't, I guess. But yes, I wouldn't have had the podium without the punctures and incidents, but I think the way that I drove today and not risking myself getting involved in stuff like that meant that I earned it.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily you being lucky. It's just you being safe and consistent. We could see that the pace wasn't quite there, but also even when they were battling, you were like just over a second, but you were still there. So I think the other guys could feel the pressure, and you also maintained to be there. But yeah, I mean, well driven.
Thank you.
Reminds me very much of myself sometimes when I used to league race. just taking advantage of others' misfortunes, but yeah, really good race. You had the pace to be up there still, but not to fight with them, and that's also a force in a way.
No, definitely not. I mean, I was much quicker at the end and had much better tyre wear, so I couldn't stick with those guys, but I kept the pressure on KJ. I knew he had 2 penalties anyway, so even without the puncture, I would have still got the podium by keeping it on the track for the most part.
How's the confidence looking for China? Because you won last time and now you have P3, so I believe it's very close between you and Joe. Yeah, what are you looking into next week?
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah, a win in Australia was a dream start. Third day is the best it could have been, really. Joe 3 points ahead. China, probably my worst track, not gonna lie. So just damage limitation next week. If I'm on the podium again next week, I mean, I think there would have to be a maximum of 3 finishes for that to occur, but I'll give it my best shot and hopefully, yeah, hopefully I'll just make the best situation and not lose too many points on my weaker track. So I'm still in with the shout when my better tracks come around later in the season.
Yep.
Oh, fair comment. Monday, I suppose I'd better do the honor.
Yeah, I have nothing more to say.
Well,
so.
Yeah, I mean, it was a mental Bahrain Grand Prix, and we compared it before to the season of RGL
Oh boy.
around here, and it definitely delivered on that front.
Yeah. I would say
that
tops.
was absolutely crazy. Yeah, probably was tops, and that was that's a very difficult race to top as well.
And we
but
were
it
so
managed to top
similar
it.
as well. It was so similar with
Yeah,
so
it
many
was.
guys. Similar.
PM British Standard Time, I suppose. And you can join myself and Commando for all the action then. But until
Hello?
end it.
You died, James. Okay. Yeah.